Back on the live. I haven't done this in quite some time. It was actually a little nerve-wracking, I won't lie. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually nervous. And I usually don't get nervous when I go on live. So I guess when you don't do something for quite some time, you got to get back that muscle memory. So I am really happy and excited to be back and reconnect with all of you. And tonight was a spontaneous night. I decided to go live spontaneously because I made the poll and I realized that a lot of you did submit your votes. So I thought, you know what? Why not? I will go live and I hope it will be a smooth, nice conversation, a very interesting, educational one. Good evening as well, Svetlana. So basically on the poll, there were a few choices that I put. I asked what topics should we discuss on the live. It was marriage, dating, building self-esteem, and going live with one of you guys. And marriage actually won the vote. A lot of you voted for marriage tips. So I'm not a marriage counselor or therapist by any means. I've been married, thankfully, for over 20 years. And like all of you who are married, I am sure that all of us can somehow, from so many years of experience, give some sort of words of wisdom from things that we learned that worked and things that we did that didn't work to help others, including ourselves. So I came down with notes, okay, did a little bit of research of some really helpful tips to keep the marriages going. Now, there are so many other things we can do, so it's not just whatever I will mention today. There are many, many other things that need to be done, but I think these are some very, very important tips. Also very important to remember when we're married, the foundation, especially for the newly married couples, the foundation of a marriage is very important. If the foundation of the marriage is not strong, is not solid, the couple is married and already in the beginning of the marriage, there's already name calling and there's already trust issues. They already are not able to communicate or respect each other properly from the first few years of marriage. It only gets more challenging as the years go by. Thanks, Natalie. I know I try. As the years go by. So if we don't work, oh, thank you. You're so sweet, Natalie. If we don't work on our marriages from the very beginning, and the children come, and the financial stressors come, and with age, we do change. How much we tolerate changes. With age, our hormones change. I mean, these are things that no one tells us, that as you get older, there are things that you no longer want to tolerate. And that happens because with age, we kind of become... we have that attitude of, leave me alone. Most of us, after a certain age, 40s, 50s, we start to feel different. So that's why it's very important to build our marriages from the beginning with a very strong foundation. By the way, if anybody does want to join me live right now, go right ahead. Let me know. Maybe, one of you can join me and we can actually discuss this topic together. I would love that. So if anyone wants to join me, I won't be able to see based on the live request, but message me on the comment that you want to go live with me, and I will be more than happy to do the live with you. Now, I hope this is going to be interactive because, again, like I said, I haven't done this in a while. What happens if you don't? What happens if you don't start this from the beginning? Natalie, say that one more time. I didn't understand your question. What happens if you don't what? If you don't start the marriage with a strong foundation in the beginning? What was your question? Write the question one more time. Happens to be, I also want to tell you, while Natalie is joining us here live, Natalie, I watched your live with your husband. It was actually very, very interesting. It was nice to see a perspective where we see a husband and wife kind of, doing a live together. Her husband, I got to give him, props. I tell my husband to go live with me all the time. He won't do it. And he's not even the type of guy that's very shy. So I don't even understand why he won't go on live. Maybe one day, I'm still praying for that day to come. But I haven't been able to convince him to go live with me tonight even. I said, let's go live. People want to see us together. I want to be able to have a conversation. No, it's not my thing. I can't talk like you talk. So I give your husband props for being able to do it with you. That was really, really nice. Okay, so what happens if you don't start your foundation strong from the very beginning? I think that was your question. If your foundation is not strong from the very beginning, this is the thing. You may have to go to therapy. You may have to get some rabbis to intervene in your marriage if you see that there are some things that are shaking. Anyone who's getting married and you're in your first year of marriage, what I would say from remembering my first year of marriage, and again, most of you will probably agree, some of you may disagree, the first year of marriage is one of the hardest years of marriage. And I say this, and I was like, I could say that me and my husband, we dated a little for some time before we got married. We really thought we knew each other. And I still found it to be difficult. There's something about the first year of marriage that really throws the couple off. Remember, you're coming from a situation where you were in your parents' house, you had a lot more freedom, you didn't have responsibilities, and even if you think you know your partner, you're still learning about each other. So if anyone just got married and it's really difficult, hang in there. It's normal. It's not like, oh my God, maybe I made the wrong decision. Don't think that way. When you start to think negatively and you start to put these crazy thoughts in your mind, that's when you're doomed for failure, God forbid. Think positive. This will get better. This is new. We're still getting to know each other. Be patient. Don't attack each other if you don't agree with each other's views. And most of all, don't take your dirty laundry outside of your house. Your husband said something to you. Your wife said something to you and you don't like it. It offended you. It hurt your feelings or whatever it might be. Do not tell this to your mother, to your father, to your sister, to your friend. Do not take what goes on in your marriage and tell someone else about it. Because what happens is, A, you don't know what kind of advice that person is going to give you. You have no idea. You don't know where this person is coming from. You don't even know what they think about certain things. For example, maybe in their marriage, it didn't go that way. And all of a sudden now they're saying, well, what is this? That's not normal. So you're not sure what advice somebody is going to give you. Instead of building your marriage, they can actually give you advice that can destroy your marriage. So number one, do not take your problems and share it with someone else, because that can actually be very, very detrimental. The only people that can actually guide you are people who have experience in this and people who are not biased. They are not there to take sides. They're not there to be on your side. They're not to be on the husband's side or the wife's side. Those are neutral people. But anyone that can have a biased opinion, do not take your stuff that goes on in your marriage and share it with others. Okay, so here are the tips. I think I have about 8 marriage tips that I prepared, that I was able to find, that I thought were very helpful. And there are many, many more. But let's go through those 8 marriage tips. And if you have anything you want to add, please feel free to comment and add as I go around with these tips. Rule number 1 when it comes to having a healthy marriage: your partner is not there to complete you. So if you're getting married and you think the reason I want to get married is because I'm lonely, I want to start traveling the world, I really feel like I have to move out of my parents' house, I have to find myself a partner, the way society has made it is that I have to get married. If you're getting married for any of those reasons because you think your partner is going to make you happier, he's going to complete you, you're going to be very disappointed. Because your partner's job is not to make you happy. You have to be happy. You have to feel whole. You have to feel completed. If you already feel content, happy, completed as you are yourself and you're getting married, that's healthy. Because you're not getting married with any secondary motive in mind. You're getting married simply because you want to get married. But if you were to remain single, you would still be just as happy. In that case, mentally, you are healthy and prepared. But if you think you're getting married because now you're going to be able to financially be more stable, and let's say you won't be, so what? The marriage is not going to last. Don't get married for secondary motives. Don't get married because you think your partner is there to complete you. You need to feel completed yourself. You need to be content with yourself, and then marriage is going to last for you. Rule number 2, not rule, but tip number 2, if you are the most attractive individual, you're so beautiful, you have a nice body, you're a very handsome, charming man, but you don't know what it means to respect your partner, over time, even if you're the hottest individual on planet Earth, your partner is not going to think of you as anything other than ugly. Because if you are not there to give your partner respect, you're not there to give your partner mutual understanding, you're not there to have a communication with your partner, there's no interaction, you're constantly belittling, you're putting your partner down, you're criticizing, you're yelling, you're name calling each other, guess what? Over time, you become the ugliest individual to that other person. So you can be not such a skinny little person, you can be not such a handsome man, but you respect your partner. You show your partner how much they mean to you. Guess what? Over time, even if you're not the hottest, for your partner, you're the most beautiful individual. You know why? Because you have a very beautiful heart. You're a very kind individual. So what really gives someone chen, beauty, the way they treat someone else is what's going to give you beauty. Yet if you're beautiful, but deep down you're ugly, your personality is ugly, no one is in this marriage is not going to last. So number 1 is not someone's looks. Number 1 is someone's midot, someone's characters. Will this person respect you going forward? So when you're married already, both of you, husband, respect your wife. Wives, respect your husband. Don't constantly put them down and criticize them. Don't make them feel like they're good for nothing. Don't put their ego down. Don't think you're superior to the other individual. Because over time, you're really going to remove all that really attracted you to each other to begin with. Number 3, the silent killer in a marriage, God forbid. You know what really drifts people apart? The silent killer, it's called. It's when you live together, but you are like roommates. You're in the same house. You even sleep on the same bed. You come home together at the same time. But he's on his phone. She's on her phone. He's in his world. She's in her world. And they don't even fight because they don't even talk to each other. Some people think fighting is bad. Some people think arguing is bad. Some people think, oh my God, how can you argue? They don't realize not talking to each other at all, not having any interaction with each other at all is worse than not arguing. Because when you argue, even though, why should we argue? It actually brings you closer to each other. Because you start to realize, oh, he doesn't like when I do ABC. Oh, what I said was hurtful to her. You actually start to build a relationship. It's a roller coaster. It's healthy to argue sometimes. But when you're living together, you're living together. Your bodies are there physically, but emotionally, you're drifted apart. You have nothing similar to each other. You are actually worse than someone who lives together and disagrees and has a little bit of drama, because that is bringing them together, but you guys are falling apart. So advice for that, when you are home together, put your devices away. Put your devices away. There should be no one more important to you than the person who is next to you. And I'm saying this to myself. I'm guilty of that as well. I'm preaching to myself here. We all have to be present with the people that we're living with, because unfortunately, we're so busy making sure we respond to every text, making sure we respond to every business transaction, making sure we respond to every phone call that comes our way. And what happens? The people who are here with us, are not even paying attention. We're not paying attention to them. And we also have to make it a priority that when we are home, we are home. We don't need to run away for anybody. Doesn't matter who's calling us right now. Our priority when we are home should be our children, our husband, our wife. And I don't want to start differentiating genders, but let's, for example, if you come home as a man, you worked all day. Yes, you're tired, you're exhausted, but guess what? Sometimes being home is more exhausting than being at work all day. And your wife is home and she's been home all day with the children. Pitch in, help her, start taking care of the children. Go put them to bed, go give them a shower. See if she needs help cleaning the table. Just because you came home and yes, you worked all day, doesn't mean that you have to check out and lay on the couch and watch television because now you got to relax. Yes, take a time out, half hour, relax. But then you got to start doing things together, because when you're going to be so busy watching that television show and your wife continues to do everything on her own or vice versa, it's almost like, what's going on here? Why am I alone in this? And over time, it becomes a burden. And then we start having problems with each other. Number 4, this is a really big one. Don't compare your marriages to others. Especially, oh my God, this is so big, especially nowadays. You know, with the world of social media, you see my kitchen right now, it looks spotless, right? It really is. I didn't just, I really truly do try to not have anything on my counter space. I really do try that. It's not always the spotless, but this is not just for social media. I do try my best. But why am I saying this? If you came to my house earlier when I was cooking dinner, when I was, coming from work, it didn't look like this. I tried to clean it up as much as I can for it to stay like this, but it's not reality. This is not the way it looks all the time. Sometimes I'm successful and sometimes I'm not. But when you see social media, it looks like the person is like this all the time. And it's almost like, look, her house is so clean. How come her house is such a mess? Right. The house is clean at this very moment. It wasn't this clean an hour ago. Or for example, somebody may look very put together and very well taken care of at that very moment, because what you're seeing can be an illusion. And when we start to compare our life with other people's lives, it becomes toxic to ourselves and we're introducing a can of worms. Do not compare what you see with others. Oh, he takes his wife on vacation all the time. Oh, she helps him work and you don't do anything around the house. You don't know what other problems are going on behind closed doors. Everyone has good, everyone has bad, everyone has baggages. What you see is what somebody will show you. Nobody's going to show you the problems. Nobody's going to tell you the bad side. But everyone has challenges. So the minute you start to compare your life with someone else, you know what you're doing? You are removing your blessings. You're taking away the blessings that God gave you. And that is not good at all. So take away comparison. Get rid of social media. If social media is causing you to have arguments with your husband or wife and you start to, now put pressure on each other, get rid of it. Delete it, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it because it's fake most of the time. Number 5, this is also very important. Intimacy isn't always physical, especially for the female gender. For the female especially. Sexual interactions are very important in marriage. It's very important. It's like one of the single most important things is to be sexually, having sexual intercourse. That is intimacy. But that is it's not always physical. A person may have sexual interactions and they think, oh, that's very important. But if you're not emotionally connected to your spouse, eventually you don't even want to be have sexual intercourse. You don't even want to. So this is even more important for the man to understand that women are very emotional creatures. In order for a woman to feel connected to a man, she does need to be told how special she is, how beautiful she is, how much she means to you in your life. And what else is very important? For a man, what's important is for the woman to be able to take care of herself. It's very important for a woman to be able to take care of herself. You don't have to have makeup on all the time. You don't have to have your hair nicely styled all the time. But you have to look presentable. You know, I once was talking to a man who was having problems with his marriage. So we were having a conversation. And again, I'm only sharing this because I think it's important to share. It may be helpful to someone who's watching. And he says, I walk into my house, and after a long day of work, you know, I work in a certain environment, and there are many women that come there where I work. So I see all types of beautiful ladies, he says. And I walk into my house, and my wife is greeting me with my white t-shirt on, okay? And she has holes in them. And it's like old and dirty and disgusting and stained. And the minute I walked into the house, I was turned off. Now again, yes, I understand. We're not going to be, you know, cooking, cleaning. We can get stained. We can get dirty. We have our, you know, house robes, as we call it. But when your husband is coming into the house, you shouldn't look like you just came out of a tornado. To a certain degree, it's very important that a woman takes care of her physical well-being. It's very important because for a man, that is something that he needs. So when you start to really pay attention to what you need, what the husband's needs are, what the wife's needs are, that's when you build emotional connections. And emotional connections are going to make physical connections even stronger. Number 6. Stop keeping track of who does more and who does less. This is not a competition. Marriage is not about, oh, I went to work, I did shopping, I cooked, I cleaned, I did the dishes, and what did you do? Yes, sometimes we do that. I vent like that all the time. Not all the time. When I'm upset, I can vent like that. But this is wrong. This is wrong. We shouldn't do that. I'm guilty, but maybe you are too. It's wrong to constantly tell your spouse that you did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And what did you do? Because everyone's gifts are different. Hashem may have given you the gift where you're able to do so much more because you're just a quick person, or you like to be on the go. You have that gift. Some people are slower, or some people don't have the gift of multitasking, or for some people a task takes more time or more effort, or their job may require more energy than your job, or it may be more of a physical job than yours, or you may come home earlier than they come home. So there are so many factors that allow certain people to do more than other people. And then what happens? You start to say, oh, I did this. What did you do? Right? Because you had the opportunity to do that. So if you're doing it, don't spit back in your, you know, partner's face and remind them, because it becomes very hurtful. Very hurtful. And for the partner that does notice that the husband or wife is doing so much, learn to compliment them. Learn to say, wow, I'm so shocked. How do you manage so much? You must be so exhausted. You must be so tired that you were able to do so much. Learn to put yourself in the shoes of your partner. So at least when the partner's doing so much and she notices or he notices that the spouse is thankful and understanding, you feel like, oh, okay, at least he realizes how much I'm doing. So learn to give each other compliments and поддержку, as they say. Throw in those nice, kind words of understanding. And of course, help each other, but don't keep track and score of who did more. That's wrong. What else is there? Okay, a few more things and then we're wrapping up. This one, this advice I heard from Rabbi Wallerstein in one of his lectures, and I thought it was such a good advice. Learn to basically learn to use the advice you would give to your friends for yourself. For example, if your friend calls you and tells you, my husband said blah, 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 blah. I'm so mad. He doesn't like me. I can't believe he said this to me. I knew he has no feelings for me. And she starts venting and she's all emotional. And then you tell your friend, are you crazy? Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? Of course your husband loves you. Why are you taking this overboard? My God. And you start to give her this whole talk about how she's going overboard and how her husband did nothing wrong and it's just her being emotional right now. You're great when it comes to giving advice. Rabbi Wallerstein says in one of his lectures, the same advice that you would give your friend, learn to use that advice sometimes for yourself in your problems. Talk to yourself as a third person. Ask yourself, I'm so upset at my husband right now, or I'm so upset at my wife right now. And then think to yourself, what would I have said to my friend or sister or brother if they called me with the same dilemma that I'm having? What advice would I have given them? Stop for a second. What would you tell them? And then say it to yourself. Maybe you're overreacting. Maybe it's not the end of the world. Maybe it's not worth a fight right now. So when you start to implement the same advice you would give to someone else to yourself first, you're going to see how many issues you're actually preventing yourself from having. And finally, last one, I think this is actually, it's pretty obvious, but worth mentioning. The last thing on today's tips is going to be, don't call your spouse names. It's just so wrong, especially next to people. You know, sometimes this is funny, but not funny. You know, I was sitting with a group of people on a Shabbat table, and the husband is literally saying to his wife, "Choshka and Jibio." I'm like, is this for real? Like, as funny as they think this is, and as they think it's acceptable, and she's not offended by it, and she doesn't take anything close to heart. Great. I'm very happy that, you know, she doesn't take it personally. I don't want my husband calling me Choshka, you know, like I would not be okay with it. It's almost like, where's the respect? Why are you calling each other names? It's bad enough you're calling each other names. You shouldn't ever call each other derogatory names like you fat cow or you pig or I don't know what names you can call each other. But to do it next to people, to do it next to others, to name call yourselves and think it's okay. People, it's for some people, it's almost like, Joe, why have to take something so tight? Who cares? No, it's not who cares. It's wrong. It's so wrong. First of all, it doesn't set a good example for your children to watch a husband or wife calling each other such names. And second of all, it's just not classy. It's not nice. You shouldn't call each other derogatory names, especially insult each other in public next to people. You have to learn to be sensitive to each other. Yes, sometimes your wife or your husband may keep quiet. You may say something that's very hurtful. You may call them a hurtful name. They may not say anything to you at that moment, but deep down it's very embarrassing and very insulting. And we have to be very, very careful. You're so cute. Yeah, nice names like my love. Absolutely. That is a great name. You could call me my love, or you could call each other nice names, babe, sweetheart, you know, honey, whatever. Those are nice, beautiful names, you know, but Chichka, I don't know what other names. This is just the name that comes to mind. I don't know why. Maybe because I heard it so many times. And I'm like, is this for real? Like, it's so not okay. And in some households, it looks like it's so normal to have that type of a communication. I don't know. So I think it's worth mentioning, and I hope this was helpful. If anybody wants to, what does chichka mean? Chichka, chichka means pig. It's a Bukharian word, which means pig. Okay, it's like svinya in Russian, so that's what it means. So for some people, that's an acceptable terminology of calling people. They think it's okay. They have, you know, like I said, the most interesting part of all of it is that the wife took no offense. And it's not like, this is why the word comes to my mind so much, because I didn't hear it once. It was like in every type of Shabbat gathering. Anytime the husband or wife is having an argument, this particular couple, the husband would be like, hey, chochka zakroy sverot. And I'm like, what? Like, is this for real? And she's not offended by it. She's just like, oh, like literally it does not affect her, does not touch her. Now some people may be like, wow, молодец, she doesn't take anything, she might be used to it. No, I just think some people, they feel like it's not a big deal to take everything so personally. Right, it's not a big deal to take everything so personally, but we have to also know, I think, again, this is my opinion, where to draw the line, right? Like, if it's not like even that you're behind, that there's nobody around you in your presence. It's one thing behind closed doors, people do whatever they want to do. But when you are around people, I can't even remember, there are definitely other names I've heard people call each other, svinya, other names, right? I don't know, krachabor, whatever. Amongst each other, to call names like that, when you have a group of people at your Shabbat table, you have to be very, very careful not to do that. It's embarrassing, and you don't know how humiliating this is. It also degrades the person in the eyes of other people. It's not nice to do that. So in a marriage, we should train ourselves. Never insult your husband or wife in public. They can annoy you. They can really push your buttons. Keep quiet. Wait for your guests to leave at least. Take care of your family business in private. There's no need for other people to see this dirty laundry. It makes them feel very uncomfortable to be involved in a situation where you're kind of like, going back and forth with each other. It's very uncomfortable. Oh, and as I'm speaking, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I think this is also important, and maybe some people won't agree with me. This is my thought process. And I personally don't think this is a belittling in this situation. If you see your wife needs help, right? Your wife needs help, and vice versa. But since I'm I'm talking from a wife's perspective, because we're talking about guests and people, so it just came to my mind. If you see your wife needs help, there's a Shabbat gathering. The guests are not getting up to help, and that's fine. They're guests for a reason, okay? They're sitting. Your children are small. They're not getting up to help. They're sitting. And your husband, yes, you're busy, you're chatting, you're interacting with your guests. And let's say in a case of your kitchen is not so, it's not like it's in the next room and you're walking far away. You have an open concept kitchen. Everyone is still seeing each other, and your wife needs help. It's clearly obvious she needs help. Not sometimes. I feel like always. The gender roles, responsibilities, it needs to be mutual. Let's start with this mentality of, oh, this is degrading. I don't wash dishes. I don't do this. I don't do that. Of course, women should do most of the stuff, 100%, because it is the way we were brought up. But if you see that your wife is in a situation where she needs help, she's alone, the guests are, there's guests, she's not managing, get up as the husband. Help her. Take a plate to the sink. See if she needs something cut up. See if she needs to put something in the refrigerator. I find it to be so much more, when in the husband and wife relationship, there's a mutual partnership. It's not this is what I do and I draw the line here, and this is what I do and I draw the line here, and that's it. When there's mutual understanding in a relationship, that's when the marriages start to flourish even more. Or for example, your husband is drowning financially. He's drowning. He's not managing. And you are able to work. I'm not saying you're not able to work. You are able to work. You can go work, but you choose not to. Again, it's a matter of personal preference. Do what works for you. But I'm saying my opinion. If you can help him. You can go out there to work. You can spend less money. You can do something that's going to help alleviate his hardship because he's struggling. Why don't you do that for him? Why don't you do that? Why don't you cut back a few hours of babysitting service so you don't have to pay as much if it's possible? Because what happens is when we start this mentality of, I don't have to do this and I don't have to do that. It's his job to work. It's his job to provide. Why do I have to not give myself that dress? It's his job to provide. Right. It's his job to provide. But if he's struggling and he's choking himself and he's not able to, it's also your job to be understanding and loving and caring. So this is unfortunately where society has really like twisted our minds as to what is considered acceptable and what is not. If my friend has a maid every Shabbat, when she cooks and she invites guests and she can afford it, well, guess what? I also have to have a maid. Why? Why? Because your friend has a maid? Well, maybe your friend is making triple the amount of money and she's able to afford it. But your husband is barely making the ends meet. He's not able to afford it. And yes, maybe you could put plastic dishes so you don't have to wash so many dishes. Like, I just feel like we have to stop comparing ourselves with what society has made norm. You know, if you have live-ins, great, you can afford it. Not everyone can afford it. And if your husband can't afford for you to have a live-in, I don't think that means he's a bad husband or he's not capable or he doesn't have what it takes. I don't think that's the definition of that. There are some people who can bring a lot of money home and they're good at that. Hashem gave them the ability. But there are some husbands or wives that have other traits. They have other traits. They may be the most loving. I'm not saying the ones who can afford it are not loving, but they have even extra loving personalities or extra charming personalities. So start focusing, all of us, I'm saying for myself too, if we start focusing on what we have as a blessing instead of a comparison, my house might be small, but I'm still blessed because this is what my husband or I can provide, and that's my blessing. Would I love a bigger house, for example? Would I want to be with someone else? 100%. But does that mean if my husband or my wife wasn't able to provide that for me, that they're not capable enough or they're not good enough? That's not what it means. And sometimes what we do is we differentiate it as they're not capable enough, and then we have resentment and we have arguments. And these are not necessary types of arguments that could have been so avoided if we stopped comparing ourselves to others. All right, let's see. Thank you for the comment. Let's see what it says here. A real man is supposed to provide for his family and his wife is supposed to stay home and watch the kids. Now, thank you for that comment. I love the comment because it comes from a genuine place. This is genuinely your opinion, and I appreciate that. And a woman has a choice. I appreciate that. Right. So, I don't know if we could say a real man. So, if a man cannot provide for his wife, does that mean he's not a real man? What is the definition of a real man? My definition of a real man is someone who has the man's part. I mean, he's a man. There's no fake man. You're either a man or you're not a man. As far as maybe cultural acceptance of what considered a real man. First of all, society has changed. Everything has become very expensive. Yes, it's important for the man to have a job, 100%. It's important for the man to have a well-paying job, 100%. But in some careers, unless you are, working in businesses that are bringing you a lot of money, or you're investing a lot of money, or you're having very prestigious jobs, some jobs, unfortunately, and again, I'm not saying that I'm saying do that, but it happens. Not everyone is so blessed. Some jobs are not paying you $200,000, $300,000 a year. And some men are making $40,000, $50,000 a year. This is the job they have. This is what they're able to have. So they have struggles. Now, a wife doesn't have to work. That part I agree with. She does not have to work. There is no obligation for a wife to work. But let's say she can work. Physically, she has the ability. There are no little children that are, coming in the way. She has every ability. She can work. And now she sees her husband is struggling, working in the morning, coming home at midnight, exhausted, tired. And she sees the struggle. I don't think it makes him less of being a real man if he asks his wife, can you find a job? Now again, he shouldn't force her to do it. I don't think he should be forcing her, shouldn't fight with her over it. But I don't think that becomes like he's not a real man because he's supposed to provide. He's trying, he's working, he has a job. It's not like he's sitting on the couch and he doesn't have a job, but he's not able to. It's the way society has become, where unfortunately one paycheck is not cutting it for most people. It's not cutting it. So I don't think that I agree. I don't think I agree with the term Oh, trying is not good enough. Well, you know what, Israel? I don't know what career you come from. You may probably, okay. I'm just reading the comments. I think you might be coming from a career that probably is very well paid. I don't know you, but maybe that's where it comes from. And you're probably very blessed like that. Yeah, but barbers do make a good amount of money in some cases, very good amount of money. I mean, look, I'm a physician assistant and I'll tell you the truth. There are barbers that are making way more than what I make as a physician assistant. And I'm going to leave it at that. Way more than what I make as a physician assistant. And I know that for a fact. So barber is a good paying job, but there are some places where they're not making that kind of money if you're Shomer Shabbat. If you're, depending on how much you make per day, depending on the clientele of the business. I mean, there's so many factors that we take into consideration. So this is where I think, and I'm so glad this comment came up, where I personally think the problems arise, that we have made norms in society. What's considered normal? What's considered normal is a real man is supposed to do ABC and a real woman is supposed to do EFG. And if you're not in those categories, okay, let's go to Natalie's comment. So they need to get a second job. All right, I agree with that. Well, Natalie, I know you work, so I don't think you're you're a home mom. Yes, but you do work. So I think you're going to agree with me that you're allowed to work and still be a good mother and a good wife. There's nothing wrong with that if you can. So they need to get a second job. Some men are lazy, and I see it with my own eyes. 100% agree with that. That's why I said you try your best. But I have actually, no, I know. That's why I know you're not talking about you, because I know you love working. So I agree with you. I also love working. I know of cases, and this is why I say what I say. Michael's Beauty Salon. I don't understand, why can't his wife help pay the bills? What's wrong with that? Exactly my point. If there's a possibility, why not? Why? That's going to make him less of a man. You know what makes a man less of a man, in my opinion? When the wife comes and spits at his face that, whoa, what do you do? I make more money than you. And how much do you earn? That's what makes a man less of a man. When the wife comes and spits at his face that she earns more than him, or she doesn't care if he gives her money or not because she has her own money, and she starts to use that as a weapon against her husband, that's what makes it less of a man, in my opinion. Then she has belittled him as a man because she used it against him. But if you are a working woman who is utilizing it to help your husband, and you're not coming and using that against your husband, you are not making him any less of a man. This is what I think is my opinion on this. Now about the part where you said to get a second job. So I will give you an example. There are situations which I have seen personally where the man really, okay, if you don't want your wife to work, I'm not saying your wife has to work. If you don't want your wife to work, let her not work. There are plenty of men that don't want their wives to work. I'm saying the ones that are struggling and there's no reason that she can't, she just chooses not to, fine, don't do it. But if you can, why not? Some situations where men are coming home at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., struggling, hustling, really hustling. And you know what the wives are doing? And again, I'm going to sound judgmental, and it's not coming from a judgmental place. It's coming from a place of, we're in this conversation and I will tell you what they do. The men are struggling, really struggling, making ends meet. And you know what the wives, those particular ones, are doing? Spending it like there's no tomorrow, swiping it, 700, 800, 1,000, 2,000. Is that really called helping? And it's not, oh, they could do whatever they want. Right, they could do whatever they want. But the man is literally struggling, hustling, making ends meet, not sleeping, like, I don't know, exhausted, doesn't have a life. And the wife is sitting at home. She has every ability to work, no babies, nothing. They choose not to work. Okay, Fine. So then you want your husband to hustle like a dog, right? And you're going to continuously spend the money like there's no tomorrow. That's where this conversation is coming from. If you have the ability to help your husband financially, and he's struggling and he's making ends meet, and there's no reason that you can't, it's not supposed to be like, oh, he's supposed to, she's supposed to, what's supposed to? It's a different world. We're all struggling. It's a hard world. And then we wonder why marriages fall apart. Because what happens is marriages cannot be sustainable if we don't pity each other. If there's no mutual understanding, respect, love for one another, marriages cannot withhold. Because there's so much a husband or wife will tolerate, and eventually they're going to just be like, enough is enough. I'm checking out. I'm checking out. This is where problems arise because we're not empathetic. We're not feeling the pain of another person. This is just one example. Again, a woman shouldn't work. Trust me, I'm a woman. Yes, a woman should not have to work. 100%. A woman should not have to work. I agree with that. A woman can choose to work. Excellent. That's beautiful. But if a husband is struggling or a wife is struggling, okay, let's switch the situation. Let's not talk financially. A wife is struggling. The house is a mess. The kids are not letting her breathe. She had a horrible day. She couldn't wash the dishes. 3 kids are crying and screaming. The husband is like, well, no, it's not my job. It's not my job to wash the dishes. Right, it's not your job to wash the dishes. I agree. Put it in the dishwasher if you can. It's not my job to clean the house. It's not my job. So what's going to be? It's not your job to wash dishes. Fine, I agree with that. It's not your job to clean the house, apparently. Your wife is struggling. The kids are screaming. Okay, so then you can't take care of the kids either because they're not there. They don't want you right now. They want the mother. They're screaming their head off. So whose job is it? Whose job is it? It's supposed to be her job to take care of the kid. Oh, she's supposed to get a cleaning lady. Well, Israel, let's go on this cleaning lady. I have a cleaning lady. She comes once a week. So what, she's going to live with me? Cleaning lady is not living with you unless you have a maid. A cleaning lady comes once a week. What happens on the everyday chaos? Everyday chaos, right? Cleaning lady will come wash your bathroom, wash your stove, wash your refrigerator, wash your floors, 8 hours. She goes home. But then we have the everyday chaos in dinner, cooking, the mess. Like right now, before I went live, my kitchen didn't look like this. I mean, I had dishes to wash. I had countertops to wipe. This is not reality. You have to get to this position. So we cannot say a husband should not do this. A wife should not do this. Fine, don't do this. And then who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? So the wife is now going to put the kids to sleep, exhaust every last energy that she has, right? He's checked out. He's watching television. And then who's going to do it? She has to end up doing it. This is where the marriage problems will arise. And then we wonder, why is this happening? It's happening because we have already put in our brains, this is what's supposed to be done. And that's it. And that's a classic example. Even on the live, we actually saw that this is the example. We have in our minds very strong mentalities of what a wife should not do, what a husband, he shouldn't work, she shouldn't do this. We have to start becoming flexible with our roles. When we're flexible with our roles, that's when our marriages can become even more successful. That's my opinion. Let me read the comments because they will get deleted once I end the live. Stay home. Don't go to work. Okay, I think I read that one. I agree. Staying home is not easy. It's a full-time job. It's the I did my job, this is your job mentality that some men are stuck in. Being a mom, wife 24/7, we never clock out. 100%. I agree. 100%. We shouldn't be like, this is my job, this is your job. But to be fair, it doesn't only happen with men saying that. Women say that also. Women say that also. And I said one example is when a man is struggling financially and a woman is telling him, it's your job to take me on vacation. It is his job. He's not able to. He's in debt. He's not able to. He has bills to pay. It's not working out. It's this tuition. He wishes he can. It's not happening for him. It's your job. How? How can he do that? With which money? Sometimes a vacation can literally be go to a hotel somewhere locally, check in somewhere with a car ride. I mean, yes, of course, we want to go around the world and go all over to France, to Dubai, to Cancun, to here, to there. It's beautiful. We all deserve it 100%. But if your husband is not able to, it's not possible. He's struggling. He wants to pay his debts. Sometimes we have to just tell ourselves, now is not the right time for that vacation or that, $7,500 furniture that I want to buy. It may not be the right time. And this is when we start to empathize with each other and understand that it's not his job or it's not her job. It's a mutual relationship. Let's see, anything else? I don't wear the dress. I'm a millionaire. My wife stays home and I have a maid who cleans everything. Israel, very good, very beautiful. You're blessed. Count your blessings. Not everybody has your lifestyle. And let me tell you, and if a man is not a millionaire, that doesn't mean he's any less of a man. There are many men who are not millionaires and they are the most amazing husbands out there. So money is not what defines who is considered a better husband or who's considered not such a good husband. And if we interpret our financial statuses on being better than others, that's when we're completely off. That's what I think anyways. It's a dress only if you make it that way. Otherwise, it's called an apron for both the men and female. Maybe I missed some comments. Hold on. Oh, I missed this one. If a man doesn't make enough money, he should wear a dress and wash the dishes. Like, is this supposed to be a joke? Is this supposed to intentionally make us laugh? But it's funny that, okay, interesting. Like if I have 3 boys, all right? I have 3 sons. And if this is the mentality of what a woman would think about marrying a man, I am going to tell you, I would really be afraid if that would be the mentality of the women. Thankfully, I mean, this is a man saying that, but if a woman said that, we're in a dangerous situation here. I mean, if a man doesn't make a certain amount of money, he should start wearing a dress. I mean, I have a teenager laughing here. Like, we're in problems. It's problematic. Wow. It's interesting. I hope this is a joke. What? You have to spend $200,000. I think you're joking here. You have to spend $200,000 on furniture. What the heck is $7,500? Oh, okay. Interesting. So my topic was marriage tips, and clearly you could see why, right? We're having a very interesting conversation about marriage. I love your kitchen. It's beautiful. Your husband and you do a good job together. Thank you, Israel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I'll tell you, my house is not big at all. I'm sure it's not as big as your house, but thank you for the compliment. You see, sometimes we can live in a very small house. It's not a mansion, but you can still be very happy and very content. So the size of the house and the amount of money we make is not the definition of who is better and who's happier. It's not the definition. You can be a millionaire and still be a shitty husband. Money doesn't define you. There you go. She said it. If a kid washes the dishes, it's okay. Interesting. Okay. If a man doesn't make enough money, he should not get married until he's gonna grow up. Do you know? Interesting. Do you know that money comes from the wife? Believe it or not. The amount of money a man makes is dependent also on his wife. Financial success in a man comes from the wife as well. It's very, very important to keep that in mind. Very important. Second thing to keep in mind is money comes from Hashem only. You can be the most successful, rich person now, and at any given time, God forbid, all that can be wiped out and taken away. And you can come from ground zero and have nothing and really barely make ends meet and live in an apartment, have an old car, and then all of a sudden something happens in life and everything turns around. You can make the best deal ever, or just miraculously God gives you this great opportunity and you're the most successful person. So sometimes you're going to wait for you to make a certain amount of money till you're 55 and then you miss the boat. I mean, I don't agree with that part. Real men help around the house. Yes, I agree with that. Real men wash dishes. Real men do it all. I agree with that 100%. 100%. Because there should not be like, oh, he's a man, he's a woman. Yeah, if you're a woman and you're sitting together with your friends on the table and, there's no reason for you not to, go and clean the table up and you're just sitting and chatting, expecting your husband to do it, I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with that. Because you shouldn't, why are you expecting him to do it? You have every ability to do it. It's not like you're really busy. I don't think a husband should be responsible for that. But if you genuinely need help in the house, you're struggling, your husband sees you're tired, or he knows how much you did and he has the ability to do it and he's not going to do it because he's a real man. I don't even think he's a real man if that's how he thinks. I don't know. Sometimes if men don't help, he needs a slap with a frying pan. Oh, okay. What is happening with these comments tonight? Like, where are these comments coming from? It's funny. Okay. It's an old-fashioned mentality. That's right. It's an old-fashioned mentality to think real men don't help. I love when my husband helps in the house. It's so sexy. I agree. Agree. Oh, so if a man helps around the house because the wife is working and she's helping him with his pocket, I also agree. Okay. I get that a little bit. But again, if she's a full at-home mom, that is also considered working. Keep that in mind, okay? Taking care of the kids, she's not making money, but that is also working. I'll tell you, you stay home with the kids, those men that think staying home is not really a job, you stay home with the kids, okay, for the next month, all day long. And I know how I know this. I'll tell you how I know this. When it was COVID, my husband's listening to this, so I'm not saying this behind his back. It's a reality. My husband was with the kids at home because his barber shop was closed. I am in the medical field. I had to work. So I had to work in my basement because we were working remotely. I was working full time. My job never ended. I was still doing my full shifts at home, even busier because almost everyone had COVID and we were doing telehealth visits with them. And I couldn't even come upstairs because I was working. And my husband was home and the kids were sitting on the computers and their iPads and they wanted lunch and they wanted dinner and they wanted breakfast and they needed help with the logging in. He did it for 2-3 days and I'm sitting in the basement and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is the life. This is the life. I love this. I'm home. Don't say it. He just commented. He said, don't say it, but you get the picture. I'm thinking, I'm living the life. Guess what? It lasted 3 days and he said, listen, I'm checking out. It's either or. Either I take care of the kids or I'm cooking. I am not doing this at all. I am not doing this again. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? We women have to take care of the kids and wash dishes and clean and shop and cook. We can't check out. We can't just decide, oh, I'm not doing it all. We have no choice sometimes. But then men, when you are in the ability where you experience what it is, what happens, oh, now you get it. Now you get it. So it's not easy to be a full at-home mom and to do all this. It's very exhausting. I'd rather be at work most of the time because work is easier than being home. Real men help, and if you don't help your wife, you're just another kid she has. Your money doesn't mean... Yeah, again, I do have to say my opinions about this are on the stronger side. I agree. I don't agree with the mentality of he has this, she has this. I also don't agree. As much as we're saying real men have to help and men have to do this, I will always say women also have to do their part. A woman cannot expect her husband to, it's also a form of mistreatment when a woman thinks that it's okay for him to work so hard, and she doesn't appreciate it, and she doesn't respect him for it, and she doesn't know how tired he is. She doesn't understand that. That's also wrong. So from a woman's perspective, we also have to respect our husbands. They are working very, very hard, and that's how it should be, my opinion. I think oh my gosh, there's a situation going on in the comment section. If I want to marry my mother, I can wait. Let me read this one. If I want to marry my mother, I can stay in my mother's house and wash the dishes. Interestingly, in my mother's house, I didn't wash the dishes. See? So everybody's upbringing is different. Sometimes we don't do certain things in our mother's house, and then we get married and we do it. Life, as they say, жизнь заставляет. We do it because we do it not because we're forced to do it. We do it because we want to do it. We love doing it. My mother never obligated me to wash dishes. She never once obligated me. I always, your mother never obligated you. That's why you're writing this comment. But you're not in your mother's house. You're in your wife's house. You're in your husband's house. And in your husband's and wife's house, different obligations, different situations. And we have to be a little bit more lenient on that. Not so uptight. That's such an old-fashioned mentality. And this is where we get in trouble. And you know what's really scary? Children are watching this. Children are watching that their father or their mother have such strong opinions, and then they get married and they carry the legacy of this mentality. Oh, I see a lot of requests here. Let's see. You just don't know the truth. That's what usually happens when men hear the truth. He's either old school. Okay, I think we're attacking the poor guy, and I don't know if he's trying to be funny or not. That's the real interesting part. Israel, are you trying to be funny or you're serious? Hold on. Okay, let me accept this person. Hold on. Very interesting live over a very short period of time. It became something I wasn't expecting. I'm totally very much intrigued with the comments that we're having. All men, what is it? Wait, hold on. Avi, are you joined? I don't hear you anymore. Hold on.
I can see you, but I don't feel like I'm in the video.
Okay, so now you joined us, Avi. Welcome to the live. I don't understand why we're not seeing you on the video, but are you following along with today's live? I know you probably just joined. Are you following the comment section?
I just joined 1 second ago. I just want to say hi. Hang on a second. Hang on.
We can't see you, but let me update you, Avi, on what happened just now with this live. It became a very interesting live, real quick.
Wait, hang on a second. Should I get out and then get back in?
Yeah, try that. I'm not going to disconnect this live. This became a very interesting live. What time is this? It's already an hour into the live. Very interesting. The conversation we're having here on the comments section is, I am so happy to have this conversation. It just really proves why today's topic was such a hot topic, because the mentality shifts are, whoa. All right, you're joining me again?
I guess accepted, and maybe I'll go live.
Oh, I did accept you, and that's how you started talking, and that's how we hear you. Everybody can hear Avi? Let me remove you. Wait. Remove. Okay, Avi, try to join one more time. See if you can join again if you're still hearing me. Hold on. I don't know what's happening with Instagram. View. 1 second. Avi, request to join one more time. I can hear him. Yeah, Israel, I want you to hear Avi. I know we're all poor Israel. You're getting it tonight from us all. I hope, again, like I said, I hope what you're saying is a joke, because if it's really not a joke, wow, we are very different mentalities, a lot of people here. Avi, can you rejoin the live one more time? Okay, something is wrong with this Instagram, unfortunately. It's not letting me reconnect. I've been married for 30 years. I have nothing to worry about. Beautiful. I'm very happy, and I wish you the best, and I want you to be married for another 30 years. But the problem is this mentality is a problem for another generation of people. Avi, you're not coming. Comment on the comments, I guess. These days, people get married. They have beautiful weddings. I would love to join. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you joking right now? I would love to join. Don't joke around like that. If you would love to join, you come here. My husband is saying I would love to join. So please come downstairs and join us, because I would love to hear what you have to say to Mr. Israel here, who has such a strong, interesting opinion. I can't even check. It's not letting me check. That's the problem. And if I'm going to click any button here, it may kick me out of my live, and I don't want to get kicked out. Hold on. Accept. Go live. Yes, bring him on. I know I want to bring on my husband. Guys, you got to convince my husband to get on live with me. I don't understand why he won't do it.
It worked.
It didn't work.
I see you. I see me.
I don't see me. Everyone sees both of us. I don't see him. As long as you guys see him. If we hear you, Avi, that's good enough. If my husband
All
can
right.
come downstairs and join us, that would be even more amazing.
All right.
Okay,
So
what's happening for the people who just joined? Okay, let me tell you what's happening. I came on the live today very well prepared with notes. I didn't do a live for a long time, and I made a poll and I spoke about tips on marriage. And we went through it. Then we got into a nice debate here. Very nice debate. I'm very happy. What the debate was about was as follows. I said that if a husband is struggling with work and a wife is able to go help him and work because financially he's struggling, I see nothing wrong with the wife going and helping her husband work. So then in the comment sections, somebody mentioned, if a husband works, he should basically, no, if a husband has to make his wife work because he's not making enough, he should basically put on a dress at that point, which I thought was comical. So the comment section went a little bit nuts. And then we spoke about the roles of a husband washing dishes. So the other comment was also very funny. So that's where we're at. We're having a discussion here about the roles of a woman and the roles of a man. Avi, what is your take on all this?
Wow, that is definitely entertaining. I'm glad I joined.
Someone said something about a frying pan. What
A frying pan.
about the frying pan? Very funny with the comments today.
I think in the end of the day, it falls down to the values of that family dynamic, right? So if let's say a couple is dating and during the date the husband says, "I want to be the sole provider of the family. I'm going to do my job to support you, to support the kids." But there are also things like, just like you expect me to, pay all the bills, there are certain things that I would, my certain expectations of you, which would be, taking care of the kids and the household and showing up in certain ways. And if that works for that setup and that dynamic, and they are peaceful and harmonious and everything works well, then more power to them. They should go ahead and do that. But also at the same time, when we're living in a world where things are extremely expensive and we want to have nice things, then, we would have to both go and work. And also at the same time, just putting it out there, oftentimes, even you see this a lot when women have children, a lot of the times they feel like they have a loss of identity. They feel like all I'm doing is I'm home with the kids. Where's myself? I want to get out there. I want to go work. I want to see people. So it's not only, at the end of the day, it's not only, I know we're talking about money, but it's not only about money. It's also, I say this all the time. In every relationship, there are three entities: him, her, and the relationship, right? Just because you got married doesn't mean you lose your identity. And you know what? This is a partnership. It's not 50-50. As long as it equals 100 in the end of the day, that's what makes a relationship work.
Perfect, right. So Israel, you're saying the problem is that people are very materialistic. And this is what I said before. I said to you as we were doing the live, I discussed like this. If a husband is struggling and making ends meet, right? He's struggling. Not everybody has the ability to make $300,000 a year. I said, if the wife is not working, like she can't work. She doesn't want to work. She chooses not to work. Fine. At least don't go spending the money like you're like 100,000, like just going and spending crazy money because apparently he needs to provide. Of course he needs to provide, but have a little bit of empathy. Not everyone is able to provide like other men are. And that's what I said. If you can't work, fine, don't work, but be a little empathetic to the husband that's working.
There's a comment, Israel, you said the problem with people that are too materialistic these days. Here's the thing, and this is also a very controversial topic, is that if you are a high value person and you see yourself as a high value person and you like to have nice things and you work hard for your money, there is nothing wrong with having nice things, right? Let's also define what materialistic is. For some people, they would pay $30,000 and have a Rolex watch, and they love that. And for them, that works. And for some people, they like to travel, so they don't have the Rolex watch. They're wearing very, simple clothes from, from, I don't know, Sears. Is Sears around anymore? Or, and not anything fancy, but they would go travel and they would spend thousands of dollars in traveling, and that works for them. Does that make them materialistic? Right? So if we also have to see our own value, right? If we want to have nice things and we see ourselves as a high value person and get those nice things, there's nothing wrong in that. There's a stigma there that if you like nice things, then you're shallow or something must be wrong with you. I would love to hear what people say. This is why I have an empathy.
I think what he meant in this situation, why he commented like that, is because you missed the first part of the live, that we shouldn't be so materialistic if we are struggling financially. He was saying, like, don't eat out at night. That part, this is too funny. The comments today are too funny. So he was saying that don't eat out and, don't do certain things. I agree with him on that. I strongly do agree. As much as, yes, we want to go out to restaurants, fine. Don't go to a restaurant where your bill is going to be $700. And you may say, well, why you can't tell people what to do? We can't tell people what to do, but sometimes people don't have the brains to think of these things. I'm sorry. They don't realize.
But I hear what you're saying, right? But also this is, if you want to go to the core, right? It's also like having a limited mindset, right? Let's not think about how to cut costs. Let's think about how to make more money, right? How to expand our horizon, to think big, right? When we think big, what's that smile, Yocheved?
Just reading the comments. I do this all night. Go ahead.
One second. What does it say? People should be humble, and that's all, near the public, going to weddings and throwing money on the floor. That's a good point. I mean, on that one, I do kind of agree with Israel. There's one thing with throwing money and being very haughty with it, but it's also another thing of like enjoying nice things for you. I mean, these comments are interesting.
You missed the whole beginning of these comments. This guy, Israel, I said he's entertaining. In a way, I'm having a good time that he's actually entertaining us. And you know what? No, I'm not bashing you, Israel. I'll tell you, I give props to anyone that can authentically not be afraid to say their opinion. This is how you live your life. Like you said, you're married for 30 years. This is what works for you. And I'll give you credit that you can come and be your authentic self, and that works for you. Now, that doesn't mean that it's the right way for most other people, And this is why, I appreciate people when they actually, they comment and this is what they believe. We're not trying to attack anyone, but it comes to show that people have very, very different mentalities. And some mentalities in 2025 are still 1970 Uzbekistan. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And our children need to understand that when they get married, they cannot live like the 1970 Uzbekistan life. This is 2025 America. We have to be somewhat with the program because we're going to have disagreements.
Can we try to psychoanalyze this for a second?
What?
Why do you think people were so triggered by his comment?
Well, number one, you're telling us that a man should wear a dress because he doesn't make $200,000,
Well, that's what
or whatever.
That's what he said. That's what he said on the surface level. If you get down to the core, what do you really think he meant by that statement? When he said,
What did you mean by that statement? Israel, you're on. Tell us, what did you mean by that statement? Oh, do you also agree that if a man cannot make a certain amount of money, he shouldn't get married? Let's hear.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Do I? No, absolutely not. I think there should be some type of game plan, but I think you don't have to. And this is one of the biggest things that stops guys from dating is because they feel like I don't have enough money to support my wife. If you have a job, again, the same goes to a guy who has a lot of money, and he loses his job. Then what? This is from personal experience. I was working. I remember I was a teacher out of school. I was making money, and I got married. I was in my last year of my master's for special education, and all of a sudden something just switched. And I said, you know what? I want to leave education, and I want to go into become a therapist. And I went back to school. And for 2 years, I had to not work because I couldn't. I had to be in school, and I had to do an internship. I wasn't making anything. And God bless my wife, she was the one who helped me finish school, for those 2 years. And if not for her, I would have not have been able to do that. So if we see it as teamwork, that's the whole game changer. So yeah, in certain cultures, again, especially in our from our background or previous generation, there's a stigma to it. If you're asking your woman for money, then what kind of man are you? But also, we're breaking these generational cycles. What are they saying? Let's look at the comments here.
Go ahead.
Yes, I remember being in your psych class. Who is that?
What's your name?
What's your foot? Because I see it says Mick Ilya. That actually, from Touro College, we had so much fun. I honestly, genuinely miss it. I was a professor in Touro for a couple of years, and it was such a great experience. I would love to come back. I actually just finished session. My schedule is insane, but I would love to come back.
It's Michelle. Do you remember Michelle?
Michelle, what's your last name?
She was in the class.
For sure. If you tell me your last name, I'll definitely remember.
Yes, Avi, I'm very happy you joined and gave, Eliav.
She was like an A+ student, of course, Michelle. We definitely remember who Michelle is, definitely.
Very good. You see, we get to reconnect. But like I said, Avi, you joined us late in the game. I'm very happy at least you were able to come in for a few minutes and we got to see your perspective as a man. And your thoughts. And I'm glad that you're, for the most part, on the same page as everybody else. This was definitely very interesting. I am so grateful to all of you that joined and commented because this is what keeps these lives going. Your comments. It's very, you don't know the challenge of doing a live. Remember, there's no edit button. There's no delete button. You got to have what to say at a constant. So when you guys comment, it gives us the ability to have a conversation going. It makes it more exciting.
Can we, I'm just curious, can we do a live with 3 people or no?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Israel, can you come on live?
Can you request to join my live, Israel? We're not going to sleep tonight. We need another live with Israel from the beginning because I have a feeling he has a lot to say. Israel, you want to join the live? I was an F student. I dropped out of school when I was 12 years old. Would you let your child do that, Israel? I'm curious. How would you look at it if your child did that? Would you be supportive of that? Oh, he's in his jacuzzi now.
I'm curious, Israel, if you really were 12 years old and you were an F student and dropped out when you were 12, that must have been really tough. You know, it's no, I'm serious. I don't know if you're joking or you're being sarcastic, but if you did, that must have been tough. So I hear you. You know, based on the stuff that you're sharing, I'm curious to hear your story. I'm genuine. I'm serious about it. No, I'm serious. You know, I'll tell you something. Even with sarcasm or humor, there's a lot of stuff behind the surface, beneath the surface. So I would be curious to hearing Israel's story. I would actually really like to meet him. I'm not joking.
He's in Arizona.
Oh, he's in Arizona. Okay. When you come to, my son dropped out of school when he was 15 and was very successful. You know what? Let me make a statement about school. Here's the thing about school. When I was 12, the teacher was making 30K. Here's the thing about school, you know, especially right now. There's this thing, Penn Foster. You know, a lot of people talk about this. If your kid is having a very hard time in school and he's struggling and he's 15, obviously I know I'm on a platform, um, and I'm making a general statement, but this is for obviously for every single person, it's a very unique experience. But if they're 15 and they're struggling and it's a fight every single day for them to go to school and they're miserable and there is a way for them to graduate earlier, whether with Penn Foster or different things or whatever it is, as parents, we need to support our kids to do what's best for them. For some kids, school, finishing and graduating 12th grade, that's the best thing for them. And for some kids, it's really not. It's miserable. They hate it. It's the worst experience for them, especially at a time where they're building their identity. And you know what? Graduating early and getting a job, that might be the best thing for them. And you know what? Maybe they'll be actually making a lot more money than certain people.
Well, Israel, we have something in common. I also dropped out of school, believe it or not. Look at that. So again, I'm successful. So yes, that happens. It happens. Some of us have to drop out of school. I agree with that. But again, what I don't agree with, we cannot generalize and say that if you do A, B, C, D, and if you're not here, and if you don't have 20 houses by a certain age, and if you wash dishes, then you should be hit by a frying pan or whatever it is, then this is not the right, this is not the norm. We have to be flexible.
You know,
Anyways,
years ago,
go ahead. I want to cut you. The only reason I'm trying to be short on time is because my life started a while ago. That's why. Go ahead.
years ago, if you went to school, then you were considered successful. Now that's really not the case, especially with everything that's going on right now with you know the internet and online and you know things took a very big turn. So it's all about you know your self-worth, your ability to thrive, your ability to do big things and think big of yourself, not in an egotistical way, but in a way where you know you have the confidence you need to do hard stuff. But I'm so glad that we got a chance to connect. Yocheved, this is this is out of the blue.
I honestly, it was extremely, I love the way you speak, my friend. You're a very honest person. I don't know who that comment was for, assuming it's for Avi. Thank you very much, Israel. So I was saying, Avi, today's live, I came after a long time, as you did, as we both haven't really been much on Facebook Live or Instagram Live, but it was very well worth it. I am very, very much thankful to all of you who joined. We should do this again. Avi, do you want to continue this topic for next time?
We should have a round two, Yocheved. It was fun. It sucks that you can't see any other. I would have loved to read all the comments from the beginning, but it sucks that once you post
can't
it.
see it? You can.
No,
Oh, yeah.
once you post it, you can't see it. But this was
That's
great.
why I was trying to read it as the live was going. I was reading most of the comments because I knew it's going to get deleted and it's going to throw. You know, the comments were very, very entertaining to some degree. You know, to some degree, it was interesting. So thank you all for watching.
Israel, we should make some time to collaborate. Message Yocheved and we should do a live together. I want to hear your story.
Not when you're in your jacuzzi. Get prepared.
No, that's true. That's true.
Get prepared.
You can be in your jacuzzi as long as you know you're modest. That's fine. We don't discriminate. Let him be in his jacuzzi.
His jacuzzi. Oh, I don't know. Okay. There's a 3 hour difference in Arizona. So right now he's
Right,
still early.
right.
He's still
Okay,
early. But
everybody, have a good night.
thank
Yochaver,
you very much, Israel. God
well,
bless you as
job
well.
well done as usual.
And you know what, Israel? I want to apologize. Nobody here wanted to attack you. We didn't mean to attack you. Everyone here is very respectful. We appreciate your honesty. We appreciate that you came with your, you're brave enough to say your opinion. Thank you for that. And thank you all for watching. If you found this live to be helpful, definitely share it with others. Thank you, Avi. And I still don't see you, Avi, but I'm glad you guys can see both of us. Have a great night, guys. Until next time.
Good night.